Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Be Future Ready webinar series. This webinar series is designed to provide you with valuable information on a range of different topics to support you when thinking about your future and the potential career pathways that are open to you. Today marks our second webinar, and I'm delighted that we've got Hazel Lewis with us today. Before I hand over to Hazel, however, I'd like to remind attendees of the format. So Hazel is going to run through a short 15-minute presentation on the topic of careers in maths before leaving some time at the end to answer some of your questions. Please write your questions in the chat whilst the session is running, and we'll look to get to as many as we can before we finish up at 10:20. Any questions that we don't get to, however, we'll be sure to send round follow-up answers afterwards. So as I mentioned before, Hazel is going to be talking to you about maths careers. Hazel is a writer at the Institute of Mathematics and its applications. So without further ado, Hazel, over to you.
Hi, so as Megan has said, my name is Hazel Lewis and I work for the Institute of Mathematics and its applications, which is theIMA, and I'm the writer for the Maths Careers website. Okay, so the IMA is a professional body for applied mathematicians. It's got over 5,000 members who work across industry as well as in universities. So about 10 years ago, the IMA started the Maths Careers website, really with the idea of helping people make good decisions about their future maths career. So it's aimed at 14 to 19-year-olds, but we do know that a lot of undergraduates and also postgraduates make use of it as well. And so over those 10 years, it's grown and grown, and now it's the #1 most popular maths careers website in the UK. So a good question to start with really is, what is a maths career? Because it's actually quite a difficult question, because absolutely every job needs mathematics. And everyone needs maths to function as a citizen. So bank accounts, mortgages, loans, shopping, everyone needs it all the time. Okay, but in this presentation, I'm going to be talking more about the kinds of jobs that have maybe a high mathematical content, or you need perhaps a higher level maths qualification to get into that job. Okay, and there are more and more of this type of job, mainly because of advancements in technology and automation. So one big difference with maths jobs to, say, for example, you did medicine at university, that's very much a vocational course. Most people will go on to be a doctor. Whereas if you do mathematical sciences, you could end up in absolutely any area of the economy. Okay, so it doesn't limit options, it actually opens up lots of different possibilities. So here's some quotes from some official reports. So between 2011 and 2013, the number of people working in jobs where mathematical sciences qualifications are essential rose by 20%, whereas the UK workforce rose only by 2.3%. And this other quote really kind of gives the background to why that's happening. You know, it's developments in technology, computerization. So maths jobs are just going to get more and more over time as technology advances. Maths jobs are also well paid, although I would say don't just choose your job and your career based on its salary. You know, you need to do something that you enjoy and that you're passionate about. But it does mean that if you like maths, then a maths job is a really good option for you. So if you've got your 5 good GCSEs, then studies have shown that that will benefit on average people by £100,000 over their lifetime. If you take it another step further and you do A-level maths, then that has been shown to boost earnings by 11%, and that covers people that have got all the different grades at A-level. So that's not just talking about people that have got grade A at A-level, it includes everybody. And then if you go on to do a mathematical sciences degree, then that also does lead to big increases in earnings as well. Okay, so an interesting study was done on graduates 6 months after they graduated, and already you can see that people have really spread out throughout the economy. They're not settled in just one particular area. And then if you take it on another step, so this is IMA members, so many of whom are a little bit further on in their career, and you can really see that they're spread completely throughout the economy, which is good because it means that, you know, if you've got an interest in maths, but you also, for example, think, you know, healthcare, that's something that interests me. You know, there are jobs in maths and in healthcare. Okay, so there are, really big wide variety that you could go into. And if you want to know more, we've got some more in-depth articles that you can take a look at. So what maths jobs actually are there? So most people will probably have thought of finance, and by that they often mean accountancy and also teaching. And it's important to say that these are actually both great options for many maths graduates. And in particular, if you are interested in finance, then you know, it's a lot more than just the traditional view of accountancy. You know, you could be like a forensic accountant looking into fraud, or you could be you know, doing mathematical modelling, looking at the stock market. So if you are interested in finance, I would encourage you to read our article about maths jobs in the finance sector, because they are also very diverse in their nature. Okay, but let's have a look at some ideas for maths jobs, and these are just 10 ideas, and I say just because they are just 10 out of a huge number that you could think about. So what about meteorology, forecasting the weather? So someone like the Met Office will take physics graduates, you know, but they will also take some maths graduates every year. Cybersecurity, as I'm sure you can imagine, this is an area that's going to grow and grow. And you could be working for a private company or GCHQ, which is the government body for cybersecurity, and they've actually got one of the biggest groups of mathematicians working in the country, and actually it's probably one of the few places where you'd actually have the word mathematician in your job title, because most people that work in a maths job don't, surprisingly, actually have the title mathematician. Okay, medical statistics. So obviously doctors are really important in deciding whether drugs are safe, but ultimately the decisions will come down to the evidence from medical statisticians who are saying, you know, is there enough statistical evidence to show that a drug is safe? And you'd often get into this route by doing a master's course in medical statistics, either on the job or after you've done your degree. So data science, this is a really big one, and I'm actually not going to say too much about it because I know that you've got a whole other webinar just devoted to this topic. But this is probably one of the biggest areas of growth in terms of maths jobs. And just one example here, you know, with Amazon, they are not sat there pricing their products manually. They're not saying this is £20 for a table. They are using algorithms to do all of that. And so, yeah, data science, just spend 5 minutes looking on jobs websites. You will see a lot of jobs for data scientists. Entrepreneur. So most founders of the big tech companies, such as Google, have got maths backgrounds. So not everyone is going to found Google, but the lots of maths graduates do start their own, usually smaller companies, because it gives you really good skills. You've got the logical thinking. You would often be good with finances, and yeah, you maybe have some of the technical or analytical skills that were needed for that. Then you've got mathematical biology. So this has been a huge growth area in terms of research over the last 20, maybe 30 years. So that has probably been in the news quite a lot with COVID and virology, for example. But there are lots of other aspects to mathematical biology, so modelling cancer treatments, for example. And again, a lot of people will move from, say, a traditional maths degree into this area by doing a master's and then maybe even a PhD. And the good news is that for this type of master's or PhD, some of them will be funded. So you're not just looking, you know, at funding all of that yourself. Then this one is close to my own heart, science writer, because that is what I do. Okay, so if this is good if you love maths and science, but you also like writing, and people get into this through a number of different routes. So it could be by writing your own blog, for example, or there are actually science communication courses, which are becoming increasingly popular. Then government operational researcher. So there are many crossovers between data science and operational research, but operational research really is using maths and science, well, mathematics and statistics, to make kind of intelligent decisions. And it does really deserve its own category. There is a whole professional body, the Operational Research Society, for operational researchers. There are still master's courses and degree courses in operational research. And the reason I've put the government operational researcher is because they have a graduate scheme, which is part of the civil service fast stream, which is how some people get into operational research. Economist, I don't need to say much about this. Some people will do a straight degree in economics, which is obviously a highly mathematical degree, or you could get into this after having done maths or statistics degree, maybe again with a master's course. And then finally, I've put applied mathematics researcher, because I've been really lucky as part of the IMA to interview a lot of amazing applied mathematics researchers in absolutely incredible topics. So met one team who are working at Cambridge in image restoration. So they've been restoring ancient manuscripts so that are too fragile to restore, and using mathematical techniques to do that automatically. Met another guy who developed a detector for plastic landmines, which can't currently be detected. I've also met lots of space researchers. So contrary to popular belief, space research is not just done in NASA. The UK has actually got a really thriving space research industry. So yeah, if you want to get into applied mathematics research, there are absolutely thousands of different applications of it. And I really would encourage you to check out the real life career profile section of our website. So for example, we've got profiles of people like Carrie here. She did a traditional maths degree at the University of York. Probably more unusually, she seems to have gone on and done two master's degrees after that. And then she now uses her skills to work with the NHS to help them to make better decisions. And then I really like to talk about this guy. So I read about him on BBC News website, and he is only 24, but he's the CEO of this company, Fanbites. So what it does, to be honest, I don't fully understand it, but it's using software to kind of decide which influencers are going to be best for advertising companies. And I liked what he said, because he said, my success is all down to maths. He did computer science degree, but he obviously recognises that maths is what's enabled him to make this software. But really why I've highlighted it is because actually he's doing a job that 5 years ago we couldn't have even imagined it. You know, software to, you know, working with influencers, we'd have probably said, what is that? Yeah. So doing maths gives you the skills to be ready for jobs that don't exist now, that are going to be ready in 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years time. It helps you to be flexible. So if you are actually thinking of doing a maths degree, there's a number of different factors for you to consider. So first of all, maths degrees do vary a lot between different institutions. So if you do an A-level in maths and it's the same exam board, if you do it in Manchester, it's going to be the same as in Bristol. That is not the case with maths degrees. They do have some overlapping content, but they are going to vary a lot. So do you want large lectures? Do you want lots of academic support? Do you want a really applied course or theoretical course? Do you want a course that teaches you how to program really effectively? Do you want an industrial placement or a year abroad? Okay, also a kind of myth that needs busting is that you need the top grades to study a maths degree. Obviously, there are institutions where that is the case, and some places you also need to do extra exams such as STEP to get into them. But there are universities which accept lower entry grades, but they're ranked really highly for student employability and satisfaction. And so, you know, if you really like maths, but you're thinking, you know what, I'm not going to get an A in maths. Yeah, don't rule out a maths degree. Do have a look at these other courses. And again, there's some more in-depth articles for you to take a look at there. So how can you get involved with the IMA even now? So you could sign up for our E16 Plus newsletter. So this is just every half term we send this out. It's got latest careers guidance, sort of fun maths articles and videos. And we do class this as a digital only membership of the IMA for sixth formers. So you could write about it in your personal statement, you know, that you're starting to get involved with a professional body. And then before you know it, you're going to be a student, and student membership's just £10 a year, or the e-student membership's free. And then once you've graduated, you can work towards full membership, and within 5 years, you could apply to become a chartered mathematician or scientist. So you'd get letters after your name. you would get great professional standing and also that network of people, some of whom are world experts, others who are early career mathematicians. So this might seem a long way off, but do have it in the back of your mind for when you become a student. Okay, what are employers looking for? Because I think this is worth pointing out, because I think I'd be misleading you if I'm saying they're just looking for great maths qualifications and skills, okay? You have to bear in mind all these other things as well. So when you're at university, don't forget about your soft skills, your team working, communication, presentation skills. Also increasingly programming skills, so the technical skills are really important. There are still companies that will teach you that happily on the job, but you're going to be in a really good position if you can perhaps learn some programming when you are at university. And then any work experience you can do is useful as well. So yeah, if someone is looking to employ someone and they've got a great maths qualification, they're a fantastic communicator and they can program, they're going to be in really high demand. Okay, so just bear in mind those other skills as you go to uni, and now really. Okay, a little plug for a workshop that the IMA runs, which is open to sixth formers. So this is Python for A-level mathematics. So if you've never done any programming, this will be a one-day introduction to learning Python, but it's based around the A-level mathematics syllabus. And Stephen Lynch, that teaches this, has won lots of awards where he teaches at Manchester Metropolitan University for his teaching. He's really fantastic. And there's not many courses you can go on where you could go on it and also your teacher could sign up as well. Because I signed up for it, you know, as a teacher and really enjoyed it. But there's also A-level students doing it as well. And the next one I think is in January, but you can sign up for it already. So there's going to be a short Q&A, but if we don't answer all your questions, then please do head to the website and you can contact us through the website. And yeah, we always have competitions that you can enter, loads of materials to look into. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for listening and really good luck with your future careers.
Thank you so much, Hazel. That was a fantastic presentation. So we've got a question that's come in about whether you need advanced higher maths or only higher for most of the jobs involved in maths. So are you able to speak to that at all, please?
So when you're saying advanced higher, are you talking about this like a Scottish qualification, or let me just read the question exactly. Yeah. What do you mean? Okay, so Rakaya, I'm guessing, are you in Scotland? Yes, okay. So I have to admit that I'm not completely up to speed with the Scottish qualifications. Okay, so would advanced hires be like an A-level equivalent?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, what I've been talking about here is often people that go on to do a degree that's got a highly mathematical content. So for example, like to be a data scientist, they would often be looking for a degree that's got a good component of mathematics. That could be maths, it could be statistics, it could be physics, okay? And yeah, it could be like other subjects as well. There's a huge range. But I wouldn't ever say no, because there are often graduate schemes that will do tests, you know, that you do when you go to your assessment day, and you complete tests, and if you can come up to their levels of competency, then you can learn some of the skills on the job. But if you do want to go into something like data science, it's going to help a lot to have a numerate or technical degree to start with.
Yeah, because I'm wondering whether it's comparable to sort of maths versus further maths, sort of whether you need that kind of that extra step, I guess, sort of the A-level stage. But
yeah, also when you start looking at jobs, for example, for data science, some of them, when you look at it, they're looking for someone that has got a PhD in something like machine learning, and they want you to have, you know, be completely fluent in programming. There are other jobs which are really more like a data analyst. So it's looking at data and it's using it intelligently. And that would not need a PhD, you know, it would not need a master's degree to do that. So yeah, really dig down under the job title, because a lot of job titles are really misleading and you have to kind of read what they're actually looking for. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, thank you, Hazel. I just wanted to fit in another quick one. Are there options for sort of non-university routes for maths, sort of maths apprenticeships or anything like that, or is it generally going through university?
So I'm just looking actually at this slide that I've got up. So there's Morgan on there, who's an actuarial analyst, and I do believe she's taken that route without doing a degree. So yeah, our website covers much more if you've done a degree. But yes, if you read her profile, there are some options for doing an apprenticeship. So yeah.
Fab, great. And I guess just to round off, do you sort of have maybe kind of one piece of advice that you could give to students who are perhaps thinking of a career in maths?
I think if you are thinking of doing a sort of technical job, because obviously I've done a maths degree and I'm a science writer, I wouldn't say I'm doing a very like technical job out of my maths degree, but if you are thinking of doing a technical job, I would really encourage you to concentrate on those programming skills. So when you go to university, and you've got the maybe module choices, do choose those programming modules, partly because it's going to help you to understand whether you like programming, so you're not going to go into a job never having done it and then decide that you don't like it. So yeah, really try and get those programming skills up if you can do.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Hazel. That's been a really interesting presentation, and the follow-up questions were great as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed listening.